Hey guys, this is Grixon, and this is a 16 Azure Vaults. Oh, let me pause this actually. Oh, dang it. Go back, go back, go back, go back. Let's get that again so you can see the talents. Man, I'm just messing this up already. Right there. So these are the talents I'm running right now. It's a tyrannical week. I've been a pretty big proponent of using Umbilicus Eternus, but honestly, Bloodshot's really good, and if you can play without Umbilicus, I don't know, that extra damage is really nice. And your empowered Heart Strike, oh, yeah, Heart Strike is really good. So I like it. It's definitely been fun so far. Okay, so let's check out the key. So I'll kind of give this somewhat of a guide, just my experience of playing. This is not a definitive guide. These are little tips and tricks that really have helped me. So if it's a sanguine week or something that's like area denial, you probably shouldn't do this. But if you can, might as well. Just double pull this and put it in here. The tender needs to be kicked. These mystic vapors should ideally not go on, but that tender is a big deal. So definitely make sure a melee has that kicked. Might actually turn this down just a touch. A little loud. Okay. So yeah, the mystic vapors can be dispelled, but they should obviously be kicked if you can. But the tender is like a big deal. So that needs to be taken care of. So any big kicks here, so Blinding Sleet is great here. You know, Leg Sweep, any like mass CC or mass interrupt is great for these. So this week is Tyrannical Raging Storming. Pretty easy affix. Raging on Tyrannical isn't that bad. It's fine. I do mess up somewhat on my rotations in this dungeon, just because I'm really trying to like focus on making sure I'm getting the dungeon correct and the route and my interrupts, and it's just not fluid yet for me. So because it's tyrannical, I'm going to be kind of pulling a lot of this. Remember, the tender still needs to be kicked, so if you're grabbing a bunch of tenders, you just need to make sure that you have it, you know, if you're playing with friends, make sure somebody has each one taken care of. So if you have diamond, so the erratic growth is what needs to be kicked, by the way. So I'm only doing 2 of these at a time. Once this one dies, I'm gonna go over to the other side, grab the rest. So he dies, and I just go and get it all.
Countered.
Okay, and that'll be everything. Once all 3 of these tenders die, the boss is active.
Countered.
Erratic growth kicked. Okay, so when we get this boss, I'll kind of pause it and do some breakdowns for you, some little play-by-plays. Yeah, just watching out for a wild eruption and kicking the erratic growth.
Countered.
Okay, so this boss, he does a few things. He's going to spawn little trees, and you need to break all the trees because it'll pop out ads. If you don't, if you leave any trees up, they will explode and do a lot of damage. So, yeah, these trees. Infused Strike is the tank buster, and it's 100% arcane damage. So, if you can... So this thing right here is going to kind of just go outwards in a cone, and you need to line this up with as many trees as possible to help. It'll break them. Oop, didn't mean to. So it'll break those trees. So when you do that, see how some of those broke? I'll show you the strategy that you should really be doing. And so here's the other part of it, is he'll do an ability that gives you these like swirls so you can break out the rest of the trees. So as the tank, you want to position him to a spot where you can get as many trees as possible, and that is going to be on the outer side of the ring and then facing in, and I'll show you that when we get to it. Also, these saps kind of do a good amount of damage. Okay, so here we go. We're on the edge here, right? So here's the thing. So what I'm looking at here is I want to move him right now. So you see how I'm moving him? Because I want it to go all the way over here to get all of those trees. So if you tank him around the outside of the circle, you can have him look either way and get a lot of the trees at once. So that's kind of like the plan. So right here, I got him to hit all of those trees on the side. So you can pretty much clear a whole side this way, because it is a pretty wide frontal. The only thing you have to be worried about is he won't really get them at his feet. So when you position him, position it away from his feet, because he won't get them if they're right on his feet. But this boss is like all tank mechanic heavy. It's all positioning. And then you need to be ready for the tank buster. You need to have an answer for it every time. So leyline sprouts will put up the trees. So now you see how I'm trying to position him to get him ready for that. But Infused Strike comes out, it hits hard, and it's all arcane, so having AMS out for that would be great. So here, I'm getting ready to position. It's coming out. Move out of the way. Boom. Get as many of those as you can. And the more you do this, the better you'll get at that. This gets a little challenging though when storming's going on. So when you have to do the spread out phase, just make sure that you clear storming beforehand if you can. So we missed one here. So this one is going to go off. But that's the boss. That's the whole fight. So for you as a tank, this all is going to depend on you to smack as many of them with that frontal as much as possible. Okay. Good. Also, I have a DSLR camera, and I just got a like HDMI to USB video capture device, so I should be having some higher quality video of like my dumb face pretty soon. If you guys care about that, like, I don't know. It's something like during part of the Mythic Plus guide, I put that out, like with my face on it. I don't know. If you guys want more of that, just let me know. If not, if audio is fine for you, then we'll just do that. Like, I was going to buy the thing either way, but, you know, if you would like to see me talking about this stuff during a key review or anything, just let me know, and I'll make sure to prioritize that in the production. Yeah, if you see Nezo, our rogue, he hit a super lucky combo. I don't really know how rogues work, but I think he rolled the dice or something, and it just like gave him the best, you know, procs possible, and he just went insane on a 2 target. Okay. So the route I do is I do that skip down to the first boss where you jump off that ledge, which means you have to pull everything up here. So unfortunately you have to do that. And the only thing you have to worry about is that patrol going by. Okay, so Waking Bane needs to be kicked, and these circles really suck, so just be careful of that. Heavy Tome is just a ability on you. You can honestly let that go. Don't worry about that one so much. But Waking Bane definitely matters. Condensed Frost, root somebody in place, or actually sheeps them or hexes them, I think. So definitely, Condensed Frost needs to be kicked for sure. Arcane Bolts, you know, just magic damage. Obviously, if you can kick them, do it. But that Condensed Frost is the big kick in that one. And I have that labeled in the plater as well. That's why it's like a big cast. I would not grab all of this together. I mean, you could. It's just the big dude does area denial, so it kind of sucks grouping him up with other things just from that big area denial. Piercing shards. Gotta be careful of that. Waking Bane. Yeah, Forbidden Knowledge is the channeling when he does this stuff, and it's like a one-shot a lot of the times. I did Dancing Rune Weapon there at the very end of the pack. I shouldn't have done that. I should have saved it. Okay.
Adrenaline rush.
Alright, so that was a mistake on my part. If you didn't see that, I also popped Purgatory. We can go back a couple second here. I'll pause it when it happens. So the area denial is going to happen, and then also a frontal. So here we have Piercing Shards about to go out and Crystalline Rupture. The Rupture... Alright, so this is about to be a huge frontal, and I am running completely the wrong way. I should be running this way away from the team, or better yet, I should be just popping AMS and just standing like here, and just, you know, that's part of the thing about being a tank, is you need to be positioned well all the time, and you need to understand how these abilities work so you can help your team the most as possible. Because that was Purgatory for me, that was death for the healer. It's all because of where I was standing. So this is only a 16 tyrannical. This wasn't even fortified. You know, these are things that are going to matter a lot. Okay, so we're just getting the res off for him. And then we'll finish up this place. It's top ring. So definitely these are things that can brick a run if you're not being careful as the tank. The higher you're going in these dungeons, the more like these things will matter. You know, a lot of the times it's not your item level that's gonna like really stop your keys. It's gonna be like mechanics.
Counter.
And unfortunately, you know, I'm like 388 item level here, which is perfectly fine. Like, I'm living everything just fine. It's just, you know, you still have to respect the mechanics quite a bit. Okay, so Archie said I'm kind of like a serial killer or a psychopath for going the opposite way. Most people run the other way of this place because you only pull half of this place. You don't pull all of it. So going this way, I guess, is abnormal. So barrier, I'm pretty sure that can be purged off. Yep. And Arcane Bash will knock you back, so Death's Advance is good here, or you just back up, back out of it. Whichever one. I was kind of using it to help me get to like my next area by just letting them hit me. But you could sidestep it too. Like, you don't need to really back up. You could sidestep it because he channels it. So here the patrol is coming. We have a rogue, so I'm less worried about it. But if you're in a pug, you should respect this. And maybe even pull the patrol first. So in this one, I was more ready for this. I pressed my AMS and I stayed in the area denial. So I am backing this stuff up.
Adrenaline rush.
He did distract them, but they are going to keep patrolling.
Blind.
So here they come. Thankfully this pack is almost over, so I'm just kind of like okay with it.
Counter.
Condensed frost. There we go. Now I gotta just turn them all away from the team.
Counter. Counter.
Bane needs to be kicked. Condensed frost needs to be kicked. But overall, not scary.
Counter.
If you can get away with bigger pulls in here, and your team is like coordinated, then great. If not, or if you're in a pug, I would suggest not combining these pulls too much, just because of how like kick heavy they are. Here you can pull pretty tough though. Like these guards can be chained with a lot of stuff. They do a tank buster. It's called Ice Cutter. I don't know why. My brain always thinks Turd Cutter. I'm always thinking just Turd Cutter. I don't know. Either way, you can pull a good amount of this stuff together on a tyrannical week. Condensed frost still an issue. Watch out for the guy patrolling.
Counter.
Alright. So I was just trying to think how I should like grab all this stuff. There's a little bit of indecision there. So I ended up pressing my nitro boosts to try and grab stuff. We did get the keeper here and 2 attendants. I'm looking to grab more as soon as the patrol goes by.
Counter.
So patrol went by. I have a threat established. I'm gonna try and bring in another person.
Counter.
This isn't enough. I honestly should be pulling bigger than this.
Adrenaline rush.
But, you know. You could think of more efficient ways to grab this percent. You know, the more you can chain in here, the better. Just remember that the guards do their turd cutter or ice cutter. So just be aware of that. Turd cutter. Oh, my brain. My brain is not
Counter.
great. I'm gonna grab all of this together, just finish out the percent except for the patrol. Okay.
Adrenaline rush.
Some ice cutters coming in. I think I parried it. Yeah, I have Dancing Rune weapon up, so it parried. Yeah, when it actually hits, it does like almost half my health. And it's a frost strike damage, so you can AMS those too. Grab this dude. He also does Ice Cutter. It's a lot of damage too. If you saw right here, it's where I keep these weak auras that show this stuff. I might move this. I might actually put it up here so I can see it better. We'll see, because that's where I have abilities at. Say Spell Frost 406%, or 406k.
Adrenaline rush.
Yeah, so right now I keep the next ability stuff right here instead. I don't know, we'll see. Okay.
Counter.
So this fight, he spawns an illusion that you can just grip in the image. This cleave, be careful. So when the cleave happens, it will be a cone in front of you. So just be mindful of who's around you. And so our strategy here was to just follow the tank and just kill each one and go in a circle together. So I came down, we stopped that one, and then we're going around in a circle to kill them all. And you just got to be mindful of all these orbs. Try and get death strikes where you can, because this is very movement heavy and it will suck.
Rush.
So I will try and hear the cleave. Cleave coming out. It hits hard, by the way. It's 100% arcane, so you should be AMSing that as well. The cleave. So, you know, I need to clean up my gameplay here. The cleave. I AMS'd that one, you saw? I took like almost no damage from that. So you definitely want a passive for this. Here's the cleave. If you don't have a defensive, for some reason, if you don't have Icebound Fortitude, if you don't have a Lichborn, if you don't have Rune Tap, like any of that stuff available, what you should do is have just enough runic power, so that way you can Death Strike to give yourself a blood shield, get hit, and then Death Strike again. Like a double Death Strike kind of thing. The before and then the after damage, just to help it as much as possible. So again, same strategy. We're just going around in a circle, following the tank as much as we can. Watch out, those balls will like one clap you too, so you have to be very careful of that. I don't know why my audio, my recordings are doing that. Did you hear that? Where it goes, it's been happening a lot, and I hear it in game too when I'm recording. I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay, image coming out. That has to be gripped in, but careful to cleave. So again, I popped AMS right there for the cleave. And you just got to be careful because it will hit anybody in front of him. So watch that positioning. Here comes the cleave. So the trap here is right when the image comes out, you want to grip him in to help, but he will spawn the image and then he'll cleave. So you can't grab it right away a lot of the time. See? Spawn image, cleave. And it hits hard. So you kind of have to just wait a second. Okay.
Poor Azure. I do not blame her. I should have thought of her before I left. This door.
Okay.
I sent the
So pretty
bridge
much from
down.
here out, we need everything. You have to grab everything. And this place is pretty chainable too. So the only real like danger in here is this breaker. He's the only thing that's really danger, and it's because of his shoulder slam. He'll pick a random person in your group and then shoulder check them. The frogs will leap to random people with their null stomp. You just gotta be careful of that too. Don't have aggro on everything here. My grippy hands aren't up yet because for some reason I used them on the boss. So if these frogs are the last thing up, you can just wait and start and keep killing them, or they're not super dangerous. You could just run to the next room. I think that's what we do. I think we actually just start running as soon as like a few of these die. Yep, maybe we do here. I think I wanted the looter dead and then just run. Because we are getting a little short on time. We only have 12 minutes left to finish the whole dungeon. So I think I plant right here so he can, our elemental shaman was like, can you just stay there for a couple seconds, because he got a bunch of earthquakes out, he said. So we kind of just plant our feet. Oh, this is another cool trick. If these stormings are happening, these guys here and here, you can, where's that? You can Death's Advance and then run into them. You're immune to knockback when Death's Advance is going. So you can actually clear them all. So if you have a Death's Advance available and there's like 4 tornadoes, pop it and just run over them. That's all you have to do, and you'll clear them all. So we do need all of this, I believe. Like I said, I'm still relatively, like,
Adrenaline rush.
I don't know, I haven't had an insane amount of time to play this season yet. So even though I have routes for everything, it's still a little shaky. Maybe, you know, I'll do like a all pug routes video like I did in Shadowlands, but it's not going to be for another couple weeks, because I'm really trying to get the hang of all the dungeons. You know, this one and Court of Stars are kind of like my big, still learning all of the mechanics and the interactions. Which I will do a video for Court of Stars here pretty soon too. I think I timed a 16 of that last week. It was either a 15 or a 16, I'm not sure. I think it was a 15. Okay, so I just got aggro on those frogs, and I'm just coming here to grab these 2 guys. Now be careful of the shoulder check, because it is a knockback, and you don't want to get knocked off the edge. Yeah, shoulder slam will knock you off. You obviously can throw Death's Advance down and not get knocked back at all. It's just be aware of it when it's happening. Tell you what, man, I need a new weapon. I'm still rocking a 372 weapon. That would up my damage quite a bit. Okay. Alright, this boss, again, he's not hard. He's all about positioning. So just understand that and get your positioning correct. So take him away from this. Hang on, Alright, so there's a few things going on here. Take him away from right here, because you need room, because you're going to need to stand there when he does his next phase. And then, okay, so we have these frost bombs on. You want to position these here and here, but save room in the middle, so when you drop the puddle, you can run and get out. So we're all positioning kind of on the edges, but we're leaving the middle open so you can run down through the middle and get out. Try and stack it up a little close if you can, but just be careful of that. I'm putting AMZ here for absolute 0. It is 100% frost damage, so just, you know, be aware of that. Again, we're trying our best, so I'm a little screwed in that spot right there, but you can put AMS down. Sorry, did I say AMS or AMZ earlier? Either way, AMS will stop all this frost bomb damage too on you if you get a little clustered in. So I kind of screwed Nihilus a little bit right there on that spot. But that's the whole fight. It's rinse and repeat. So you just manage these frost bombs well to where you can leave some room to get through. And then just be aware of where your next little rune spot is. Okay, here's our next one. Absolute 0 hits. It does quite a bit, so AMZ is very worthwhile there if you can help it.
Anti-magic shell.
But we do have a lot of open space right here, so I'm gonna just kind of stack this right here. saw a tornado there, and I wanted to just let the team go through. But you also have to worry about storming and
Adrenaline
clearing.
rush.
Okay. We have AMZ up for this one. So you don't have to always take AMZ. A lot of people don't actually. I just find it so helpful. Like I always take AMZ. I don't know. You don't always have to, and some dungeons may not need it at all. But I find it's a very useful cooldown. I always find a good use of it. Like Archie kind of like expects like me to be taking it, or at least one of us. Like I play with another DK a lot, so it's like one of us ends up taking it for sure.
Adrenaline rush.
Okay, that's the fight. It's all about positioning. Your whole team just has to manage those puddles well, and then it's fine. It's over. Alright, so this actually is a big... If you've never done this taking strategy, you should. It makes this fight infinitely easier, and I will show you. If you haven't seen this yet, if you've been taking this like just grabbing him and going, you need to stop that and start doing this instead. So, here, I'll pause this. What you're doing is you're running here, and then you are backpedaling up. So the boss will be right here, and you will be right here. And backpedaling up here means, this is what this means. When he does his thing where he drops like the little cocoons like around, he does it in like a full 360 arc around him. But if you face him up against this wall, the cocoons can only really spawn around him in just this little 180 arc only, and then maybe one next to you, which you can help cleave down, and a melee can. So it's much easier to manage the cocoons, and then you don't have to move much. And when the little wandering pulse things come by, it's hard for them, like you're going to be way up here. It's going to be hard for those little pulses to actually climb up to you. Oh, that doesn't look right. Oh, look at that. Okay. But you grab him, you come to this spot, and you just backpedal. Just get as far up as you can. He will also kind of push you up a little higher. Alright, so Dragon Strike. If you saw Dragon Strike, it hits hard. So you're going to want to AMS that, or just some kind of defensive. So Dragon Strike is your big tank buster. So just be careful of that. But most of the time, you're not going to have to move from this spot, like at all.
Adrenaline rush.
Dragon Strike, AMS, boom. I took none of it. I'm pretty sure if you're a prot warrior, you can reflect that too. You can reflect that. I'm not a warrior, so I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure you can reflect that for big damage. Alright, so yeah, the farther you can let him boop you up this hill, the better, honestly. I do have to clear with somebody, so I had to do that and then run back up.
Adrenaline rush.
So just the farther you can get up this, the better. Dragon Strike, AMS, boom. Maybe I didn't take any of it before because of, maybe I parried it before. Either way, AMS is a big deal. So I'm not going to really be able to help with that fracture. I'm not really wanting to risk it, and it seems like my team had it, so I left it alone. If a tornado comes by you this week, just, yeah, look, it hits hard. You need to have something up. I should have Lichborn that. If a tornado comes by you, just death's advance so you can run over it and not get booped.
Adrenaline rush.
So now the little orbs are coming out, if you can see them. These things right here, they always kind of bounce around and they kind of just aggro to somebody. They will come to you, but if you're up on this thing, it's hard for them to get to you. Alright, so there's a bunch of fractures happening. I think I already cleared with somebody. I did. So I'm going to help get this fracture here.
Adrenaline rush.
And that's the whole fight, honestly. Like, keep an eye on those orbs. Make sure they don't creep up on top of you here. Like, I'm really high up, so I don't think I'm gonna get tagged here. Oh. It hits very hard. You need to have an answer for it when you get to higher keys. AMZ would have helped me there. Anything, but this gave me 214 IO rating because I had nothing on the books for a tyrannical.
He knew that wild
And that's the
magic
key.
was dangerous, but
All
he
right,
meddled with
thank you
it
guys for hanging out. I appreciate you,
time.
and you know, I haven't been super consistent with my
I placed
keys,
him in stasis
but
until I could find a
either way, thanks for showing up. Oh, you're seeing my whole screen here. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.